Hey people, today is another special interview. I'm here with a great friend that I met in American English with this guy Chet. Her name is Anya. She's from Germany, actually from the middle of Germany, as she says. How are you today, Anya?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Why did you start to dedicate yourself to English? Or you have a kind of a passion for the English language?
It's a bit different. We have to learn English in school in Germany, each one. You have it at a major subject in school like German and math. And I had a really hard time with English in school. It was not my subject, like German orthography. I had a teacher at the first 2 years, and she told me if I don't want to learn English, I can go out. And I was a bit hyperactive, so I used this time to make ping pong and table soccer instead to learn English. So I miss the basics sometimes. And then I had don't use English for quite a while. And I've made my high school with middle of 20. I start again with school after I get 2 boys and was a single mom. So I need to learn a bit more English. And I think I became a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stopped. I think I had to use it in the university too. In some subjects and theology, you need to have English because all the texts are in English. And but that was 15 years ago, 16 years ago. So I don't use it so much, just for traveling, maybe.
Yeah, very interesting. Let me tell you that in Brazil, it's almost the same. We have English as a foreign language, but in school, it's mandatory that you study English, even though it's very poor what we study in school. So if you want to learn better or in a deeper way, you have to go to a private school, but it's almost the same. But your English is really, really good. And how did you improve it?
I met 1.5 years ago my boyfriend, and he's from the US, and we start to talk. And I think it's a really good reason to learn better English if you talk with someone. And I think conversation is the best or an important basic for a relationship. And you need to understand, and you need to express yourself, especially if you have some arguments or something you're not sure if how to talk about. You need the language. And he can't talk German, so I thought it's a really good reason to learn. And otherwise, I think I have this motivation, but I really learned to learn. Learn is so important in life, and I thought the language is not so bad. And I travel. I like to travel, and I like to talk with people from other cultures. And so
I love traveling as well. And let me tell you, if it wasn't for English, we would not have met like we did. And but through your comments, through your support for my channel, it's amazing. The amazing job that you do. Could you tell a little bit more? Because I felt like wow,
I'm a social worker. I have been a social worker since 14 years in Germany, and I work with homeless people. I started in a daycare center 14 years ago. But after 1 year, my colleague asked me if I want to take care of our dormitory. We have a little dormitory for 6 women from 17 years on, really young. They lived at the street or was in a children home, or they was in mental health clinic,
Mm-hmm.
hospital, at prison. They don't
Wow.
have a home. So
Wow.
I thought about and I started
Mm-hmm.
at 2008.
Mm-hmm.
This is and it's amazing. It's a hard job
Mm-hmm.
because you go so close to the history of these women, and they had almost a really hard history and lots of violence in their past, abuse and other things. And
Mm-hmm.
most of them have mental health disease. On the other side, it's a great job because the women come to me because they need help. They want help. They want something to change in her life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we have they live in a dormitory, but I'm not always there. I have my office in downtown of my city,
Mm-hmm.
and I visit them for 1 or 2 times a week. And we talk
Okay.
together and see if
Mm-hmm.
they need help or
Mm-hmm.
with their chores or if they need someone to talk with. And at 2 days, they come to me in my office
Mm-hmm.
and we look what they need. If they need someone, they go with them to a doctor. Some of them wasn't for years by a dentist.
Wow.
Some of these women need a therapist or think about, but they don't. They are too shy to go. I was I was actually in some appointment with therapists.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Was a bit crazy for me, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the women search for work or want to make her school degrees.
Mm-hmm.
We have also women they have studied, and it's. I
Mm-hmm.
had someone. Sometimes I had teacher in my
Mm-hmm.
dormitories.
Mm-hmm.
Some other women are 17 years and made 8 years at school and need to make more.
Mm-hmm.
I make 1 time a week. Not now because of COVID. I make 1 time a week a cooking group.
Mm-hmm.
It's for learn to cook, learn to work in a team,
Mm-hmm.
learn to how we can communicate with each other,
Mm-hmm.
but also a bit self-care. Some of them don't
Yeah.
know how to take care of themselves and
Mm-hmm.
how important it is to
Yeah.
take care. And we make in our cooking
Mm-hmm.
group travel around the world, so the woman can ask for a country, and we search for recepts from this
Mm-hmm.
country, and
Yeah.
this day is only for this country. So we make last year 1 day to America.
Oh, what a great idea. What a great
Yes,
idea.
but definitely not healthy.
If you need any Brazilian recipe, let me know. When I listened to this story, I got really amazed. I can identify because, as you know, I always needed help since I was born because I'm a disabled person. And I said, I have to bring a little bit of this story to my channel as well. And so thank you, Brent, for the wonderful live stream that you did with Anya. I know that you are a certified social worker, but what is the biggest lesson that you take from every person that you can recover, or any story that makes you change or think about the world and about life in another perspective?
That's a really interesting question. I think I had the luck to have parents. They taught me to think about all and to be open-minded to other people. So I learned to see the human, not the issues from this human.
you set aside all the judgment and you listen to them. I can tell you personally that sometimes I just want to be heard because I know how they feel. And we have an expression for this in English. It's soundboard. Sometimes I need just a sounding board, you know. And I talk to my wife, I talk to my family, but I identify to what you're talking about. Because in Brazil, students are very close to their teachers. So I listen to a lot of stories from my students, and they want to share with me. And I tell them, hey, I am a person with a disability. I have a lot of problems physically to challenge every day. And you choose me to be your soundboard. Why? And they tell me, no, because you know how to listen and you know what to say. That's why I asked you the same kind of questions. I think it's a brilliant job that you do with these women. Congratulations. Because sometimes what we only need is somebody to listen to us. I have a wonderful family. I have a wonderful wife. But sometimes I don't want to bring small issues to them. So I do the reverse. When my students need me, I'm always there and I talk to them when they need me. Let's turn back to English now. Why do you think people should learn English?
I think English is the best way to connect this world and to build up prejudice. And I think it's so important because we need to talk with respect to each other, and we need to have more love between humans or animals, each life in this on this world, and we need for this one language.
Yeah,
It's
I agree.
easier. It's easier to understand each other, and it's easier to get an understanding for each other and for
I
other
agree.
cultures and all. And I hope we can make this world to a better place, and we have peace, and we work together and not against each other. And so I think we have to. It's good to learn a language to talk with each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. Let me tell you something. We are talking about life stories. When I was very, very young, when we had to hold other child's hand to play, nobody wanted to hold my hand because they were afraid of getting what I had or start walking the way I did. So the teachers would have to come and tell them, no, Rod has a physical condition. It's nothing that's going through you. And I remember that much. Other children say, I don't want to hold his hand. And sometimes I would come home and tell my mother. It was really hurtful, because I was like 7, 8 years old. My mother was always strong, and she would tell me, one day you will learn, everything will pass, even though it was hurting inside herself, because I have 2 children now and I know how that works. And you'll learn and you'll overcome. But through these situations, we create thick skin. So when these people that you deal with, they have a person like you, a social worker, a certified, experienced, they feel so humble and so thankful. I really believe you have wonderful stories that when they are fully recovered, they tell you things that you'll never forget. Because when somebody reach out their hands to us, like it happens to me, most of the time, because I will need help for the rest of my life. That's why I decided to be an English teacher, because it was something I could do sitting. I loved English anyway. And then I said, no, I'm going to start teaching English. And I can work sitting and I can do my best. My parents have always given me full support, my wife, my whole family. So that's what I do. You might have many messages that you can remember fondly from the women that you have fully recovered. Can you share any message that you received?
I think something I have learned in these years. I told you I'm not a good language learner.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned in these years each human, each person have his own language, the language of their heart, their story, and their expressions, all what they had learned in their life. And I have the ability to get really fast in touch with them because I think I maybe don't learn fast other languages, but I have the ability to learn the
But
language of
you
the
have the,
heart
yeah.
from this woman. And
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing it's for me, and it's sometimes really touching, and it's amazing, is that some of my women I have 1 to 2 years, sometimes just a half year to with them, but they come back to me. They come back after 4 years, 5 years, and ask me if I have time for a coffee or for a walk with them. And I'm the first young woman I worked with. She was 17 and lived 3 years on street before. Yeah, still in touch since 10 years. And it's so great to see how they grew and what changed in life. I think it's not so important always to make all what other people need from you. I think it's one of the biggest issues, and if every society that we think we have to work, we have to make all the same job, we have to work like a machine. We are
Mm-hmm.
humans. We are all different, and someone struggle with this thing, other have a disease, or we have all our package, and we have all our story, and that is so great because we all together, we are like a rainbow. We have all
Yeah.
colors, and
Mm-hmm.
each colorful
I agree.
is not so nice, but all together it's great.
Mm-hmm.
And that
I
is
agree
something.
with you. You comment in all of my videos. It's very nice, or you watch everything and you always say nice things about my channel. What do you like most? The interviews, the quick lessons? Are there any interviews that you want to mention? What appeals to you on my channel?
I love your interviews. I love the way you talk with people, your kindness, and how humble you are. And I love the stories. How do you connect with other people? And you have you are artist. You are. It's so impressive. It's so amazing to see these videos because it's touched me all the time.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. I'm not an artist. I kindly accept your compliment. I really like it. When you are disabled, you have to have thick skin, because you have to learn how to deal with society. And sometimes society is very cruel,
Yeah.
very cruel. So I had very strong parents behind me, my mother and my father. I think looking at the eye of the person and being sincere. I love working with the channel. I love doing the quick lessons, but I love to sit down for talks like this because I listen. I love listening and telling stories. If they agree to sit with me, is that because they really want to share? And I think the interviews are something. Okay, some people ask me, you are an English teacher or an English teacher who interviews? I am an English teacher, but I love to do interviews. And when I invited you to do this, it's not the first time because I have already invited her before and now she accepted. Thank you for doing that. Some people ask me, why don't you put English with Rod on your channel as a name? I am proud to be a Brazilian teacher. I have to have my nationality on my channel name. So the word Brazilian for me is very important. But every single interview that I finish, I learn something from the guest. And I want you to know that today I'm learning so much from you. And I
Thank you.
see that there's still a chance that we can make a change in the world. And you are one of the agents of this change. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Thank you for watching and liking the interviews, because during the interviews, I am only the interviewer and you are the guest. You are the one supposed to shine, not me. But please keep doing this wonderful job. Keep being social worker who tries to make a change in the world as much as we all try to do, and keep reading the I message. That's what you said. You don't need to be we don't need to be wonderful in Russian or in German or in Portuguese or in English. If we learn how to read the I message, we can read a person. So now we're gonna play the rapid round game that everybody loves. And I want you to have a final word to close after we finish. Okay. So if you have a message, but I am really proud to have had the chance to interview you. I want you to know that before we play the game. People, now are going to play the rapid round. So a word,
Love.
a life-changing experience.
Fate.
My children are
My biggest love.
helping people.
It's a treasure.
I agree. Listening to people.
A great experience.
Awesome. Now it's your turn. Whatever you want to ask, I'll answer.
Okay.
Don't go easy. Don't go easy.
No, I thought about some questions for you, and
Okay.
I had studied your interviews the last days a bit.
Wow.
And
Wow.
there came something up, but the first question is I wonder about, and you mentioned a bit today. I think we both know how it is to grow up in the 80s.
Hmm.
You are a bit younger than me,
Hmm.
3 years. And but I think the 80s was an interesting time in some kind, but you told you live in a city of 20,000 people.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
that big. And
No.
how was it for you with your disabled to grow up there? I think it's not that easy.
Very difficult. It was not easy. Mostly family wise, because I was never accepted. My father's parents, they never liked me. I was the oldest grandson, and I had to fight a lot to be who I am today, an English teacher, because when you're talking to me and you don't know me, you think that I don't have any kind of problem. But when I start walking, you never saw me walking before on the channel. There were some students when they started to study with me, and they told me like, but you are teaching me this way. I said, what do you mean? With the disability that you have, you are able to be my English teacher. And I told this person, if you give me the chance to teach you one single class or one single lesson, by the end of the class, if you don't like it, and I was a teacher at a school already, we find another teacher for you. But let me try to teach you. If you like my approach, the way I teach, and everything else, we go on. If you don't, I find another teacher for you. And by the end of the class, this person was with his eyes filled with tears and said, I'm sorry. I said, for what? No, because I could see that you can really teach me. I'm sorry for saying that before. I said, no, I am happy because you could come to the end of the class and you like what I do. So if you really like me, I hope I can see you next class. For me, it was one of the most memorable stories that I have. But I can tell you, Ian, that prejudice doesn't come from outside. Mostly it comes from inside, from your own family, as I told you in the beginning. I surpassed it.
I need to mention that I think that your story and how you grew up make you to a great role model for your students, but also to all these people, they watch your videos.
Thank you very much.
You told about that you was in New York.
Yeah.
And that's great. I never was there and I never dreamed about it because it's too big for me. And I'm not sure if it's the right city for me. I dreamed about to go to Rio since I was 12, but not New York.
Rio is a wonderful city, a wonderful city. Yeah.
How was it for you in New York? And how long did you stay there?
The first time that I went to New York, I was 18 and I was really mesmerized by the city. But my passion for New York or for the Big Apple started because of Madonna, of course, because she tells that her career started when she went to New York. And I was listening about New York most of the time. And I told my parents, when I have the chance, I want to go to New York at least once before I die. When I was 18, it was 1996, and the principal that I have the interview, she said, I'm going to New York and I'm going to take some students. Would you like to go with your parents? And my father said, now we have the chance to do this. And that was the first time I got really mesmerized. Like, I was like, I'm here. What do I do now? And it was my first international trip. A dream came true. But New York, for me, it feels like home. There's a picture of me that my wife took or my father took, because as I'm a boomer, as you know, he took this picture and we developed it. And my wife looked at the picture and she said, look how your eyes shine in this picture. I don't have an explanation for you why I love New York so much. But every time I'm there, it feels like I'm home.
I have it the same feeling in Prague.
Yeah, it's a place that I want to go.
Which place in New York do you like at most?
My favorite place in New York is the Apple Store.
Okay.
You know, a beautiful place for me in New York is Central Park. There's a building that I love, the architecture of the building. It's called Radio City Music Hall. All the architecture there and all the museums that I went to, because New York has everything for anyone. Bryant Park, amazing places, you know. Well, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. But if I had a chance, I would visit all the United States and all the world because I love traveling.
What you like at most in Brazil?
The warmth of the people. You know?
I think you wear the sun in your heart. You have enough of it.
For every guest, I have a takeaway. I have a special message. I was literally impressed by your interview with Brent. Michael Jackson has a song where he says, it's called Man in the Mirror. And he says, we need to make a change and we need to start with the man in the mirror. But when he talks about the word man, he doesn't say about himself. He says about every man. He says about mankind. So I think that song fits exactly for the job and the way you act with people that you work around. He says that if we want to make a change in the world, we have to start with the man in the mirror, which is yourself. I think you have started this job a long way back there. So I think you are very much ahead of our time. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for accepting this interview with me. I feel very humble for to be talking to you. And what are your last words?
Thank you for this interview. Thank you for the chance you give me. I was so crazy nervous at the beginning,
No.
the last days. It was great with you to talk with you, and I'm looking forward to your next interviews.
Mhm.
And thank you for your great work.
Thank you. Thank you. People, I was here with my friend Anya from Germany. It was a wonderful conversation. Thank you very much. I hope you liked it, and see you soon. Thank you, Anya.
See you soon.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.